Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Ryan, let's begin in song.
You got it, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's join together. Yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, nanai. Yanai, 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 nai, yanai, nanai. Yanai, 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 yanai.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's begin with our heart tap as we do, looking around the gallery view. 2 minutes ago, I was speaking to David and he said, Joel, teach a little Torah instead of just a Shabbat Shalom. So David, here we go. The Torah portion this week, Bereshit bara Elohim. It's the very beginning of the Torah. And the first word is Bereshit. And so the rabbis ask, why does the Torah begin with the letter Bet, the second letter in the Hebrew alphabet? You would think it would begin with the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. And so they said, well, maybe it's because the Bet is the beginning of Baruch, or blessed. And they said, well, I don't know about that because Aleph is ahava, love. I mean, I could make an argument. And Bet is the beginning of wickedness, bliya'a. Why the Bet as the most important letter to begin our Torah? And they said, you know what? It's not about the letter in terms of the word that it creates. It's about its number. The Aleph, which we would think would begin the Torah, has the numerical value of a 1. The Bet has the numerical value of 2. And to bring holiness in the world, we need 2. We need community. We need each other. And so that's what we bring today on Shabbat as a community. We come out of our isolation and create a Kehillah Kadoshah. And with this creation, we create a more sacred world. So it's great to see everyone. The gang of clergy are in the sanctuary this evening. So Ryan's going to join us for one more nigun before he heads in, and then we'll continue in the sanctuary.
A nigun for the Chuna Ranana to bring in Shabbat together with all these wonderful faces on the screen. Let's join. Yaina na na na, yaina na na na. Yaina na na na, 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 yaina na na na.
And so we join together as one community at home, on Zoom, and in our sanctuary as we bring in light on this Shabbat Bereshit. And so I invite you, if you have a Siddur, to turn to page 120 as we join together with the lighting of our Shabbat candles.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik shel
Shabbat. There's something beautiful about the Shabbat after all the high holy days. It's just Shabbat.
I was like, oh no, Yom Tov.
So let us bring in Shabbat with the presence of the Shabbat angels, with the presence of the Shabbat goodness among us. Page 142, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bochem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Barchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mimelech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Come with me to meet Shabbat, the last of days for which the first was made. We continue on page 138 with the words on our screen, L'chadodi.
Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha, hishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'letiferet v'litehila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה
We rise and face the entrance to welcome in Shabbat.
בואי ושלום, עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, או פני שבת נקבלה. הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. פני שבת נקבלה.
Turn to page 150 for the words of the Shema, this prayer that unites us all in our knowledge that we are one, that God is one, that we are all connected to each other.
And I feel fortunate to be connected to my friend and colleague, Cantor Suffren, who's with us this evening for a special occasion.
As
and
do I.
I'm hopeful you'll join me in the Shema. Shema Yisrael Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
In the words of Hashkivenu, we ask that we be granted a double measure of shalom, a double measure of peace as we enter into Shabbat together. And we pray that love will be the theme of our day. We turn to page 161, Let There Be Love.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Lishalom. Ve'ha'amidenu, Shomreinu lechayim, Ufros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Just our voices. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
We turn to page 164 as we begin with the Tefillah, the Amidah, with the words of Adonai Sfatai Tiftach. And on Shabbat, we express gratitude to God for so many things in our lives. And on this Shabbat Bereshit, we have the completion of, the beginning of the ending of the word lev. The Torah ends with a lamed. And this week we begin the word with Bereshit with a bet. And so this Shabbat, we share in the fullness of our hearts, and we allow it to open up on Shabbat and express it with a deep sense of gratitude for being here. And so on Zoom, I invite you to place in the chat box the way your heart has been full this week, words of gratitude, words of blessing. And in the sanctuary, I invite you to consider the same in our own hearts. If you're able, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, page 164.
Adonai, Sevatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sevatai Tiftach, V'yagid Tehilatecha. Open up our lips that we may praise your name. Open up our hearts that we may feel our pain. Open up our souls and let our love make us whole. And we will praise.
We will praise
Your name, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, V'yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, V'yagid Tehilatecha.
So let us take a few moments of personal prayer and reflection.
We ask that the one who creates peace in the high heavens make peace for us here on earth with the words of Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
At this time, we offer prayers for those who are in need of healing, of mind, of body, of spirit, of soul. So if you are thinking of someone in need of this healing, in need of this blessing and strength and courage, I invite you on Zoom to place the names of those we're thinking of, asking prayers on behalf of them in the chat box. And if you're in the sanctuary, I invite you to rise, and we'll pass through, and you can share the names of those who were asking for Misha Berach prayers of healing.
And we've been asked to say the name of Gary Glick as well. Misheberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu.
Of course, each Shabbat we give thanks for the sacred moments we've shared in life. And so if you have celebrated a birthday this past week, we hope you'll raise your hands so that we can acknowledge you. Any birthdays out there in October or late September, I should say? I see one. Great. Excellent. Liz, too. How about anniversaries during this time of year? Mazel tov to you. I see the Merkins. Let's see. How about you saw someone for the first time this past week after a while, and it was good to see them once again? Or you experienced something new for the first time this past week? Can anyone think of something they experienced new during the past week? Tomorrow, Sydney and Alec become bar mitzvah. We wish you a mazel tov. Let us join together with Ryan for the words of Shehechianu, thanking God for allowing us to reach this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
While I see them singing in the sanctuary, I'll say we're going to transition to the sanctuary very soon because we have an ufraf of Anne-Marie Covington and Andy Foreman. I don't think they'll say this in the sanctuary, but they are actually members from North Carolina, which is one of the beauties of Zoom, joining us from North Carolina every week. But Andy is also the son of Earl and B. Foreman. Earl was the temple president many, many years ago. In fact, the temple president when Cantor Suffren was hired as the first cantor of Temple Beth Elohim. So soon they'll finish singing in the sanctuary, and then we'll transition to a celebration of a wedding blessing. How are we going to fill time, Ryan? You have a song? You have a dance?
I can literally hear them in the sanctuary, and they're just about done. So you filled all your time. We'll go live to the
Right
sanctuary.
back with the Zoom.
No, we're all together. Rabbi.
We are.
We've been together.
We've been together.
Did you know that?
Whatever that means. I'm not sure, but it is my great pleasure to invite Anne-Marie and Andy to come forward to the Bima for a blessing. Anne-Marie and Andy will be married on Sunday. And just to give a little background, if you will come join me right here. Andy is the son of B. Foreman and Earl Foreman, Zichrono Livracha. Earl was the president when I came to TBE many years ago. And B, I know you're on Zoom, so we'll give a wave to you and we send love. So, Kol sason v'kol simcha, words that you will hear on Sunday. A voice of joy and a voice of gladness. We rejoice with you on this Shabbat as you prepare to enter the chuppah. May you know much joy and gladness throughout your years together, and strength of spirit for times of sorrow and hardship. We pray that your new home or your new boat will be filled with delight, laughter, and unending devotion for each other. May you build a Jewish home based on ma'asim tovim, acts of goodness, and may you be blessed with happiness, love, and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, God, for this opportunity to celebrate with you this evening. And may we share many joyful moments. And I'm going to ask you, if you will, I hear that candy being readied. So we have to tell everybody a gentle underarm throw. And I think I'm going to move you away from the candles a little bit as we sing words of Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov, that it is such a good and lucky sign for all of us. So let's join in Siman Tov.
Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov v'Siman Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov v'Siman Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov Mazel Tov v'Siman Tov Yehelanu Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov v'Siman Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov v'Siman Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov Mazel Tov v'Siman Tov Yehelanu.
Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov,
Mazel
my
Tov.
favorite candy.
Oh boy. And there are a few kids that we can invite up at the end of the service to pick up the candy.
All right. In the beginning, when God began to create, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. You've heard this story before. Light, dark, earth, sky, sea, land, grasses and the fishes and the birds and the beasts and the first human beings. With Parshat Breshit, we resume the yearly cycle of Torah readings from the very beginning, with one of the most familiar and formative stories ever told. It is a story that has shaped societies for millennia, both for blessing and for curse. But there is a side to this story you may not have heard before, spoken by a voice that whispers from the white space surrounding the inky black letters. It is the voice of a woman who dared to demand dignity and autonomy, the voice of a woman who gave us the power to choose. In chapter 1 of the book of Genesis, God speaks all of heaven and earth into being, culminating in the creation of humankind, with all genders created simultaneously. But then, in the very next chapter, the story starts all over again. This time, one human, Adam, is created before anything else on earth. Only later, when no fitting creature is found to alleviate Adam's loneliness, is the first woman created to be his helper. It is here, in chapter 2, that the patriarchy is born. This is Adam's story. He comes first, this man with the power to name and thus create the identity of every living thing, including himself and the woman created to suit his needs. He names her Isha, woman, for from Ish, man, was she taken. And he's pleased with his lovely, docile companion. That is, he's pleased until we reach chapter 3, when the serpent shows up, and Eve is duped into disobeying God's one rule and takes poor Adam down with her. The pair is kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Eve is cursed with pain in childbirth and subservience to her husband's desires, and Adam has to till the hard soil for his sustenance, all because of Eve's gullible, weak, womanly mind and treacherous feminine wiles. That's one way to read the story. It's Adam's version, enforced by centuries of rabbinic tradition, not to mention Christian tradition, vilifying Eve for her role in humanity's loss of Eden, perpetuating the patriarchal culture that this ideological tale justifies. Genesis 2 creates a hierarchy where woman is a subservient derivative of man from the moment of her creation. Isha's identity is completely contingent upon Ish's. She's an afterthought, a tool. And when we reach the climactic scene in Genesis 3, Eve proves to be a dangerous fool as well, and her rightful place in the hierarchy is confirmed by divine decree. Eve gets a bad rap from almost everyone, men and women alike, because she's cast as a villain, responsible for bringing pain and death into the world, or because she's a painful example of submission to patriarchal oppression. This version of the creation story has caused millennia of damage to women's dignity and autonomy, and women still fight against the precedent of Genesis 2 and 3 whenever their perspectives or desires are in conflict with those of a man. But we only ever read this one side of the story. We hear creation from Adam's perspective because that's the only one that mattered for thousands of years. Women's voices, women's perspectives were not heard or affirmed by those with power, and so their stories went untold. Eve is voiceless and choiceless in Genesis 2. Her opinion is not desired, her wishes are not considered, her identity isn't hers to determine, and her story isn't hers to tell. But when we reread the creation narrative, looking to uplift Eve's voice, Eve's lost story, from the spaces between the lines, we discover a totally different woman. The creature created out of Adam's side need not be an unoriginal derivative. Instead, she can be the originator of the process of change. Imagine, just for a moment, that you're Eve. You've just been created, and the first thing that happens to you is that you're brought to this person who gives you a name through which you discover that you were made from him, which is weird, and he gives you an identity, wife. Neither God nor Adam asks you any questions, and you're left to your own devices as God and Adam go back to hanging out as they did before. Such is your existence until one day, a serpent comes up to you and asks you a question. Did God really say, "You shall not eat of every tree in the garden"? Finally, somebody wants to talk to you. You have a discussion with the serpent. Suddenly, your thoughts matter. You get to try out your intellect for the first time. You use your reasoning. You see that the tree was good for eating, that it was a delight to the eyes, that the tree was desirable as a source of wisdom. And you see that right here, within your reach, is the opportunity to change the circumstances of your existence. And so you reach out and take it. When Adam returns, you, in your newfound wisdom, offer him a choice. Knowing that you now have the capacity to grow and change, to surpass him, you offer him the opportunity to grow along with you. And he takes it. As a consequence, you both have to leave the comfort of the familiar worlds that you've always known and set out to build a new one together. You get a new name from Adam, Chava, the mother of all life. And the first new life that you create, you get the power to name in turn. You are the first human being with the power to choose, to create, to change, to really live. That is your story. God spoke the world into being, and thus we, humans created in God's image, have the power to speak new realities into life. We are the children of Adam with the power to define our own identities. And we are the children of Eve with the power to reach out and take hold of the opportunity to shape our own destinies. These first parents blessed us with the knowledge that choice, coupled with wisdom, is essential to human dignity. Every child of Eve deserves the right to shape their own identity and destiny. And every child of Adam has the responsibility to ensure that everyone, especially those who are voiceless and choiceless, has the power to change the circumstances of their existence for the better. It is upon each one of us to choose the changes that ensure the dignity of every human being. In the beginning, when women and men and people of all genders set out to build a new future, They listened to the voice of God inside every person and said in many voices, all together, "Let there be light." Shabbat Shalom.
I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. Oh. I am light, I am light. Try that with me. I am light, I am light. Remember, we are light. I am light, I am light. Once more. I am light, I am light. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. Oh, oh.
So we continue with the words of Mourner's Kaddish, but before we do, I just want to acknowledge Rabbi Harper. She has been a rabbi for only a few months now and has proven herself to be an extraordinary teacher of Torah. So she is teaching our middle school students and our high school students. So I expect many of you to start enrolling in our high school program to learn with Rabbi Harper. in truth, we're going to bring her into our adult learning opportunities. You should look in our announcements. Our adult learning is about to begin, and there are a lot of great opportunities, a lot of great teachers. So please sign on. But Rabbi Harper, Yasher Koach, beautifully done. Let us now continue with the words of Mourners Kaddish and invite the mourners in our midst to identify themselves by using the chat room below in typing in the names of the individuals they're remembering, and then standing or rising or raising a hand, meaning if you're observing a yahrzeit this evening, or you've lost a parent during the past 11 months, or you have lost an immediate family member during the past 30 days, we invite you to please rise or raise your hand. And then before we begin, I've been asked to read the following names. Roger Goldstein, the father of Wendy Tolman and the former husband of Barbara Seidel. Shirley Ifshin, the mother of Vicki Zell. Raymond Richmond, the grandfather of Hannah Carney. Shirley Rivkin, the grandmother of Rabbi Rachel Sapphire. Arda Schechter, the mother of Bob Schechter. Mary Sissenwine, my bubby, my grandmother. And we remember also all of those whose names are recorded in the service booklet, not in the service booklet, in the chat room this evening. And so let's join together in the words of Mourners Kaddish. If Ryan can place the words, I'm going to rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach roteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'galav izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'reichu. Le'ela mincho berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran v'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. V'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Thank you, Ryan. Just a few announcements besides the adult learning. Our Racial Justice Initiative's quarterly meeting will take place Monday evening. Principal Sarita Thomas is speaking. We hope you can join us online. Then on Wednesday, Ori Feinberg, a tour guide from Israel who's really wonderful, begins his Israel course. Also, there is a Tikkun Midot course online as well on the same day. There are courses on Thursday. T-Bell begins, not this week, but in a couple of weeks. And please take a look. There's Holy Schwitz this Sunday. CASA returns to community servings. There are just so many opportunities to engage and walk through the door. So we hope you'll join us. Let us continue with Kiddush. If you have a cup of wine, we invite you to hold it high in the air, which allows us to put you on Jumbotron. And Ryan, would you like to do the honors of a Kiddush, or?
This is why they pay me rabbinical school money. I'm ready. Born ready. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. L'chaim.
Amen. L'chaim. And now if you have a challah in front of you, let us see some chalot in the air. And then Ryan, since you're a student, we should provide you time and a half. Would you like to lead us in Motzi?
Without the half, I'll be good to go. I appreciate it. Let's say this bracha together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
It is great to see everyone. The High Holy Days have just concluded. Our first Shabbat. It is a new year. Let us greet each other with Shabbat Shalom. Let's see if we can open up the microphones. Where?
Shabbat
Shalom, Sal.
Patriot.
Sapphire.
Shabbat shalom.
Let's see if they can hear me. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi Carol.
Hello,
everyone. Thursday morning.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Happy Friday morning. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Take an Uber. Great.
Josh came home with
Martin.
Josh came home with some friends.
Hey, hi Mary.
Shabbat shalom. I think I'm done. I can say goodbye.
Shabbat shalom, Sapphire. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom, Rhonda.
Shabbat shalom, Barsha.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi Mary.